So let's talk about religiosity. How does deep religious commitment shape a person's beliefs, behaviors, and their political positions?
Yeah. I firstly, I feel like I have to lead in, and this is not even in the little notes that I've written, but I think the irony of how this informs political perspectives is that you very much have this conservative party who aligns itself with Christian nationalism and being Christians, right? However, on a policy level, all of the the reduction in resources and cuts and all of those policy level things, the fiscal resources and programs that are linked to social services programs, right? That help your neighbor, that help people who have
Mhm,
less.
mhm,
Um, this same political party who kind of touts itself as the Christian pro-life party slashes and eliminates programs that
mhm, mhm.
actually improve the quality of life of people, which is not aligned with the principles of Christianity at all. So I want to start with that. Like, let's be clear about politics right now is very much enmeshed in religion, but it's for capital gain. It's signaling, but in practice, it doesn't actually align with the principles of the religion itself. Now that I've said that, let me give some context to what my experience has been, and how religiosity kind of shapes the way we move throughout the world. And I'm speaking as a Southern Black girl again. I've only spent my entire life in the southeastern United States. So for many Black communities, faith is the backbone. It is where we have found resilience and joy. It's where we have also found survival. Um, Alice Walker called it womanist, a spirituality that's rooted in Black women's everyday lives. Womanist theologians like Katie Cannon and Dolores Williams took that further, saying that faith has to also be accountable to justice. Again, like the the theme throughout all of this is justice for wrongs done. But the challenge for this particular circumstance is that when religion is lived in only one dimension, it can harden into rigidity. And instead of bringing people together, it's weaponized. And we see that. We see that in practice as you have these elected officials trying to shove different religious tenets down our throats, trying to put it in school systems. I live in Louisiana where we had I feel like it's still caught up in court now where they were trying to put the Ten Commandments in classrooms as if everyone um in the public school system is a Christian, which is something they wouldn't do. You wouldn't put, scripts from the Quran in the classroom. So this separation of church and state, which is in the act, in our Constitution, is something that gets tossed out the window, depending upon what political leverage it might offer um, individuals that want to stay in power. So when it comes to religiosity, the risk isn't necessarily faith itself, but it's when we refuse to see that truth and justice are big enough to hold multiple perspectives. That means respecting that your spiritual belief may be different than my own. That doesn't mean that your experiences should be minimized. That doesn't mean that your viewpoints and ideologies are not valid. It just means that they are different. And as a little Black girl who grew up in a small Southern Baptist church, And this is salient now because now you have a Supreme Court considering overturning same-sex marriage. I remember the rhetoric um, that you could do almost anything and be forgiven in the Black church. You could be an adulterer, you could be a thief, a murderer, a pedophile, and just repent. You could be anything except be homosexual. Being gay, and this is from the pulpit,
Mhm.
was, a one-way ticket to damnation and proverbial hell. And I'm saying that this was impactful to me to hear, and I'm a cisgender heterosexual woman.
Mhm.
So I can only imagine, the betrayal, the shame, and all the conflicting emotions and even abandonment
Mhm.
that people who are not heterosexual, people who are not, binary gender conforming, growing up in church hearing those messages. So religiosity for some can undermine the inconvenient truth for Black folks, especially that none of us are free unless all of us are free. And that all Black lives matter, not just straight lives, not just binary gender conforming ones. Um, and this is also salient when you think about the rate at which Black trans people are murdered and no one investigates, right? No one files missing persons reports. And oftentimes, in social media circles, people almost justify the snuffing out of their lives because of their identities. So, what's so important and valuable to me about, um, Black feminists that raised me into the scholar I am is that Black feminist theology pushes us to keep faith, but to also ground it in liberation and not control of people's lives and people's actions.
Thank you. Well said. So, in seeking a balance, how can we honor our faith, our identity, and our personal belief in such a pluralistic society, day by day by